this Usher situation, man. So Usher spoke about his time at Diddy's house. Now, if you guys don't remember, Usher was this. Look at that, man. It's a real picture of Usher too, by the way. Usher was with Diddy when he was very young. I think Usher went over to Diddy and worked with them when he was like 14 or 15 years old. He spoke about that time, what was going on in that house, and he said some pretty shocking things. Recently, Usher has been in the headlines about this Diddy situation for his Twitter deleting about 4,000 tweets, and we'll get into that, but I want to let you guys hear what Usher had to say about this situation with Diddy. Listen to this and tell me if this don't remind you guys of Justin Bieber, man. Listen to this. Hit the like button if you're just coming in.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called.
Puffy Flavor Camp. He said, I think he said, what did he say? He was 15 years old. I'm going to rewind it. He said he was 15 years old. He moved to New York City to visit Puffy's Flavor Camp. P. Diddy's Flavor Camp. That's a crazy name.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah, that's what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's
In the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just
That's
filled
crazy.
with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got
What he said Puffy's place was filled with chicks and orgies like 24/7, right? Not really. He's like, come on. Like, bro, stop lying.
really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
saying?
went there
13.
to see the lifestyle.
Right.
13 years old. I thought he was 15. Usher was 13, he said. 13 when he went to live with Diddy for a year at Puffy's Flavor Camp. Nah, it's funny, but it ain't funny, bro. It's funny, but it ain't funny. That's crazy. Who signs their kid away at 13 years old to go live with another grown man that they don't know, for real? For a year? I got kids, man. I got 2 sons. I can't imagine. My son's is about to be 10 and one is about to be 9. I can't imagine at 13 years old sending them to New York to live with another grown man. I don't care if he's the biggest celebrity in the world. I don't know this. Man, that's crazy. Listen to this.
Hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you
I
saying?
went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some
Salute
woman
to Howard
didn't
Stern.
come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did
Hold on.
pretty wild. It was-
So
it was
nobody
crazy.
tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I
Yo. She asked him, she said, so nobody ever tried to like come along and no women or nothing like this, blah, blah, blah. He said, I ain't say that. I ain't say that. Like, yo, you ain't say what? Let her finish, bro. Hold on, bro.
did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah,
No,
man.
this is
Faith
crazy.
Evans,
And
Jody
your parents
C,
were
Mary J.
okay?
Blige.
Right,
They
that's
didn't
the
know
question.
nothing about this shit.
Oh,
Your parents, she asked if his parents was cool.
And your parents were
Mary J.
okay?
Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
oh.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I
Yeah.
actually stayed up longer than them.
Bro, imagine staying up to 13 with a 13-year-old to 4 o'clock in the morning at Puffy's Flavor Camp. That's what they called it. Puffy Flavor Camp. That's what Usher said it was called. You got a 13-year-old up at 4 in the morning doing what? For a year, he lived with Diddy. That's crazy. Y'all got kids in the chat? Do anybody in the chat got kids? Does anybody out there got 13-year-olds? Because that's what Usher was when he went to live with Diddy. What grown man is accepting that? What parents is signing off on that and being like, yeah. Go ahead. That's crazy. It always looks crazier in retrospect when the iOS update. When the world is different and we all update and we say, yeah, for example, when we was getting whooped the way we was getting whooped when we was kids, that wasn't cool. We was getting whooped with belts, extension cords, phone wires. That wasn't cool. But when the iOS update, it looked crazy if you was back then doing that. And if it's on camera now, that looks crazy. Back then, it wasn't as crazy. So same thing. Like this stuff probably sounded a little less crazy in the 90s, but now that we know better and we know how weird and twisted Hollywood is and that entertainment, especially the music business, y'all got kids, right? I got kids. Could y'all imagine letting y'all 13-year-old go live with Diddy for a year? I don't even really like my son being away from me for a week. I feel like I got to know what's going on. I got to hug him. I got to touch him. I got to know what's going on. I got to talk to him. I got to see him. That's crazy.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. I had like,
What
like a living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See?
They said, you're a dad now. Salute to Howard Stern. He said, you a dad now. Would you ever send your kids to Puffy Camp? That's what he asked Usher. Usher said,
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See?
She says, see, like she know what time it is. That's a black woman. She know what time it is. That's crazy, man. I want to pull up what has been going on. They have an actual, Forbes did an article where they detailed the relationship of Diddy and Usher. You know it's bad when Forbes is getting involved. They saying stuff. I want to pull this up and show you guys what they said. Check this out. Says, what is Combs' relationship with Usher? This is Forbes magazine, or excuse me, Forbes. This is their website. Said Usher and Combs became acquainted in 1994 when producer L.A. Reid, who had signed Usher to his record label, sent him to live when he was about 15 years old with Puffy Combs in his Scarsdale, New York home while he worked on his self-titled debut album. So Usher was there, I guess. So maybe that's how they sold it to his parents. Like, oh, we're going to send him with Diddy. Diddy is a super producer. Send him over there. He's going to work with him on his first album. Okay. In 2004, Usher told Rolling Stone, Combs, quote, introduced me to a totally different set of ish. SEX specifically. Y'all see that? Said Diddy introduced him to sex specifically. That's what he told Rolling Stone. I'm going to pull that article up next. In 2004, Usher told Rolling Stone, Combs introduced me to a totally different set of ish, sex specifically, SEX, while he lived at Diddy's New York home. Said there was always girls around. You open a door and see somebody doing it. Or, hold on, my bad. Or several people in the room having an orgy, Usher said. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? L.A. Reid got to be held accountable too. You sent that little boy over there. This man, grown man, Diddy. I don't know how old was Diddy in 2004. Let's look that up. I'm gonna look it up on the side real quick, and I'm not gonna put it on the screen. Diddy in 2004. He was 35 years old. Diddy was 35 years old back then in 2004, and he got Usher in there. And he introducing a 14, 15-year-old to sex, being a 35-year-old man. That's Usher's words. That ain't mine. Said, let me read the quote again. This is Usher's quote. In 2004, Usher said this. Diddy introduced me to a totally different set of ish, sex specifically, SEX, while I lived at his New York home. There was always girls around. You open a door and see somebody doing it, or several people in the room having an orgy, Usher said. But through the years, Usher has remained tight-lipped about the experience and does not talk much about his relationship with Combs. He addressed living with Combs in 2016 interview with Howard Stern, which I just played for you guys. And we just heard, Howard Stern asked if the house was always filled with chicks and orgies nonstop. Usher said, not really. You ain't say that back in 2004 when you was telling the truth, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. The article also references the situation I told you guys last week. All of Usher's posts on X disappeared. So all his old tweets were starting to disappear. A few rumors that it was somehow related to Diddy. But Usher wrote in a post on X that his account was hacked and people ran with it. So Usher hasn't commented anything further on Diddy's allegations. I'm about to pull that 2004 interview up from Rolling Stone that he did. And we're gonna see exactly what he said about living with Diddy, man. So let me see if I can pull it up. Give me a second. This might be one of them. You got to subscribe articles, which we're not going to do right now. Let me see. I got it right here. Let's see. This is the article. Let me see if I could find exactly where Usher said what was going on. It got to be in this one. This is the one I'm going to take super chat comments on this situation. I found it. I'm going to take super chat comments. I'll put your comment on screen and I'll read it for the audience. Thank you for your donation, Andre. Said for always keeping it real. I appreciate you, bro. Let's read this article real quick. Says, so he had a bandage on his hand in 1994 when Usher arrived in New York, which was where L.A. Reid sent him to craft an image and an album with Puff Daddy, a.k.a. Diddy. Quote, Usher called this, quote, the hardest days of my life. He said, I had to knuckle up and figure ish out in New York by my MF himself. They called him Baby Huey. They called Usher Baby Huey. He was the youngest member of the Bad Boy Posse. Quote, this is a quote from Usher, said, Puff introduced me to a totally different set of ish, sex specifically. Sex is so hot in the industry, man. This is what Usher said. And this is a 2004 article. You guys can see right there. This is a 2004 article that Usher was speaking about going to live with Diddy for a year when he was 14 years old. Said Diddy introduced him to sex. He said it's so hot in the industry, man. Well, the article says while he was in New York, he lived at Puffy's house. There was always girls around. You open the door. This is a quote from Usher. We read this already. There was always girls around. You open the door and see somebody doing it or several people in a room having an orgy. You never knew what was going to happen. Usher experimented with women too. But what? The way they word that too. What do you mean too? Did y'all catch that? Am I tripping? It said, the article says, hold on. What? Usher experimented with women too. But maybe I'm just, all right. Let me not say that. Maybe they saying Usher not he experimented with men and women too, meaning also, but maybe they saying he saw it and he was experiencing, he was experimenting with that type of energy as well as seeing it. Let me give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know that they worded that crazy though. They worded that crazy. Usher was experimenting with women too, but he says he didn't actually consummate until he was 19. Strange, but I never busted a nut before then, he says. I just do it until I could tell the girl was feeling good, then I stop. So he said that he ain't never bust, but he was doing it at Diddy house. Come on, bruh. He's right here. I'm not making this up, bro. This is a Rolling Stone article from 2004. He said, strange, but I never busted a nut before then. I just do it until I could tell the girl was feeling good, then I'd stop. This is crazy, yo. It's crazy. When you start researching what's actually been going on for all these years, that's 2004 Usher said that, man. 2004. When you start realizing like, okay, this has been going, weird stuff has been going on for decades. This is why Diddy felt so empowered. And then when we hear the stories about Diddy and Justin Bieber, now it's like, okay, this ain't so crazy. He did this with Usher before Justin Bieber. L.A. Reid brought Usher to Diddy. Usher brought Justin Bieber to Diddy. And that's just what it is. So Usher just kind of exposed, even when he was a kid, they was doing exactly what. So Rolling Stone been knowing about Diddy. If nobody else knew, the people that worked for Rolling Stone knew what Diddy had been doing since way back then. They did the article. How do you hear because Usher was still relatively young at that time. How do you hear when this kid was 14, 13, 14, 15 years old, he was at Diddy's house and he was sleeping with grown women. Diddy was exposing this kid, this baby, this child. Do y'all have 13-year-olds? Y'all know how immature they are? They're kids. And this Usher at 13, 14, 15 years old was being exposed to orgies, sleeping with women, but not, from Usher's quote, not able to bust a nut yet, but still sleeping with the women. And y'all want to talk about, and you got people out here running around like Dr. Umar and Faison Love, like, yo, what crime did Diddy break? What crime did he commit? I mean, yeah, he freaky, but what crime did he commit? Bro, what is y'all talking about? What is y'all talking about? You got people saying we should stand behind Diddy regardless because he black. Man, get up out of here with that, bro. What is y'all talking about? This is sick. This is sick stuff.